So welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on Inside Helix GPT. We're going to be covering a step-by-step walkthrough and configuration guide. Presenting today is Amma Elsbar, one of our premier architects, and joining him today and his team that will be answering your questions is Hugh, Ankita and Harishi. We understand there's a lot that's going to be joining today, so if something isn't covered, this really is your starting guide. We are planning to do further webinars around GPT, and for those that have joined previous webinars, you may have seen a series with Ankita's colleague Des. We run them against our product managers for different versions, so we will be sending out that content today. But we're now going to get started, so Amma, I'm going to hand over to you to do your introduction and to get us started.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks everyone for joining today. My name is Amr Saba. I'm Lead Premier Support Architect at BMC Helix. I'm really excited to be here today to talk about Helix GPT. The main goal for this session is to make Helix GPT easy to understand for everyone, whether you're just getting started or you want to apply it effectively in your environment. The agenda for today, we will give a quick introduction for Helix GPT. What is it? And also I will walk you through the architecture to give you a clear picture how Helix GPT fits in Helix. Also, after this, we will dive into a demo for ITSM use cases. And while doing the demo, we will share some common tips for troubleshooting. Next slide, please. So Helix GPT, it's a Gen AI capability within BMC Helix ITSM and BMC Helix ITOM. It helps in quicker problem resolution, better collaboration, and increasing also productivity. Also, Helix GPT can quickly analyze data. It can generate helpful content, improve the processes, and answer questions in a conversational way. Next slide, please. So architecture, we have a user. It all starts with the user who sends a query through one of BMC Helix applications channels like Digital Workplace, Smart IT, Business Workflow, Virtual Agent, or Live Chat. He sends a query and the assistant receives a query, which acts as an orchestrator between user and the Helix GPT manager. The assistant sends a query to Helix GPT manager, and the Helix GPT managers have all the configurations for prompts and skills. So the GPT manager application sends a prompt back to assistant, which then the assistant sends it to the vector database, which holds all the contextual data like knowledge articles and events and so on. After this, the assistant sends a user query, the prompt and contextual data to the LLM, large language model like Azure OpenAI, which then generates and send the smart and relevant response to the assistant back, which then sends to the user. On the back end, we have the Helix GPT administrator who can ingest data to our vector DB through many data sources like business workflow, ITSM, knowledge management, Helix knowledge management by Comma-Round, Confluence, SharePoint, and many other sources. Next slide, please. So ITSM use cases for digital workplace, it is now using Helix GPT. It's much easier for users to find information instead of asking using exact keyword. They can have a natural language and ask whatever and receive a relevant response from Helix GPT. We will see also Employee Navigator in our demo. Virtual agent, Helix GPT is alternative for IBM Watson. IBM Watson required many trainings, and for Helix GPT, it requires less training, and it can generate smarter answers for the users. For live chat, Helix GPT can summarize the chat conversation between the agent and the end user. So it makes the agent take less time to read the full conversation, which then can resolve the issue faster. And the last use case for Smart IT, there are 3 use cases. The first one for resolution, where agent, while working on ticket, can click on Ask HelixGPT and find the resolution by using HelixGPT. And the second one is conversation skill, where the agent can chat with HelixGPT within the ticket itself. And the last one is for global chat, so agents can ask HelixGPT whatever they want from Smart IT instead of digging in knowledge articles and find the right answer. Let's go now for the demo. Next one, please, Sam.
Just going to move to the demo. Let me know that you can hear it okay. So it's about 30 minutes long, everyone. We've recorded it, so we can also share out just the recording on its own. Please let me know if you can hear.
Let's go ahead and start by opening our Helix Innovation Suite from Helix Portal. And we can open our Helix GPT Manager application from here. We can see the records definitions, views, processes, rules, and we can visit our deployed application from here. To manage access for this application, we can assign permissions to people records from mid-tier. We will see 2 different permissions, one called HGM admin and HGM client. HGM admin is responsible to create, modify, and read models, skills, prompts, and client is to read these configurations. Now let's configure our model by opening Helix GPT Manager application and then go to Settings, Connections, AI Service Providers. PMC supports different vendors and models. We can see here the out-of-the-box configurations for Azure OpenAI, GPT-4o, and different models here. We can test connection from here, and after this, save. And we can see the back-end configurations for these records in our record definitions here for Helix GPT Manager. We can search for model and edit data. We can see the ones that we have already configured now, and we can create new records if we want to do this. Now let's start to ingest some data into our Vector DB. So I have one article which I will ingest. If you can see from here, we have different sources that we can ingest data from. And these data sources, I can see the backend for it from here. If I search for data source, I will see all the data sources that I can ingest data from, like ITSM knowledge management, business workflow, Confluence, web, Salesforce, different data sources, which has status disabled for the moment. I have one article in my Smart IT. Which is how to add a network printer on Windows and macOS. So I will use this article to be ingested to my Vector DB. I have to go to Helix GPT Manager application and search for data connection job. I will edit data and create a new job. I have to add the data source. It is RKM, and the connection ID, I can get it from information sources here, ITSM knowledge management, by showing the ID of this connection. and copy. And I can specify the document ID or leave it blank. It will ingest all the data in Remedy Knowledge Management. So in our case, I will just ingest this data so I can get the instance ID and put here. I can also execute this job now or create a rule or escalation to run later, but I will execute for now. I can also sync deletions in case this article is deleted later. I will save this job and I will go to another record definition called data connection job step. This one. I will see that there are 3 new records are created. I will refresh. It's always status as done now. One is called crawl to identify the document. One load to load the article to vector DB, and one to sync deletion. And it's all done now. We can also view the logs for this job to identify if there is any issues happen during ingestion. So I will open our cluster and get the pods. We will see here 2 pods, one HelixGPT assistant and the other one for HelixGPT data connection, which is responsible for data ingestion. So I will log into this pod. And I will print working directory. I will go to logs. So this is the location where we can find the logs. I will list the logs. I will see server.log, the last one. I will open it. And we can search here for the document ID. So this is the document ID. I will copy it. We can see here that this article is being ingested now. And if we go to the end, we will see that the data ingestion is successful and nothing has been failed for now. Now let's start our first use case for digital workplace. First, we need to go to homepage and select our application, Helix Digital Workplace. We will see here BMC provides out-of-the-box skills for different vendors and models. So we have our Azure OpenAI GPT-4o configured with Azure OpenAI as provider and model as GPT-4o. BMC also provides out-of-the-box for prompts. Here, it's instructions that allows HelixGPT to provide the correct response to users. So we have the router prompt as a starter prompt. And if I view it, you will see it is having all the instructions needed to route the correct the request to the correct prompt to provide answer to the user. And in this tab, we have the search setting. So we can see business workflow, innovation suite record definition. In our case, we have Helix ITSM knowledge management, and we can also edit filters to allow knowledge articles from specific companies or include or exclude internal use articles. Now let's open our DWP. And as you can see, we have here the employee navigator. In order to enable it, we have to open the admin page. And go to configuration. And then we have here chat. We need to select either Employee Navigator or Helix Virtual Agent. In our case, we will select Employee Navigator and the skill required that we have already configured. If I go back here to DWP, I can ask how to add network printer on Mac. So it has provided me with answer for only macOS, and the sources from this knowledge article that we have here. It has instructions for Windows and for Mac, but it has provided only the instructions for macOS. I can also view or trace the LLM call for this request by going to Langsmith and I can see here the input. I can see the number of tokens that's used for this request, how to add network printer on Mac, and the output that has been provided to the user here with the source. To enable Langsmith, we need to go to our record definitions and search for global settings and add the Langsmith API key. But first we need to register with a service account or personal account on Langsmith. We need also to enable tracing for the required skill. So we can go to skill record definition and go to our skill. Which is called, let's go to here, DWP, Azure OpenAI. So I will search with this name. It is this one, so I will open it. And I can see in the configuration section, trace on is true, and Langsmith project name that I have configured in my Langsmith account. We can also initiate chat from Digital Workplace from here. So I will say hi. We have two options, a chat and the regular search. So in our case, if we need to enable the HelixGPT chat, we need to go to DWP admin page and go to configurations. In the search, we have the option to choose the AI chat or HelixGPT chat and the required skill. So I will ask this time how to add network printer on Windows. I can also enable the developer tools, so I can see the request from here. As you can see, it has given me the response for Windows 10 or 11 only. And the request here I can see. The payload, we see the ID and the input from the user. And in the response, we can see the chatbot channel and the executed prompt, its knowledge, and the prompt ID that is used. We can also open the HelixGPT Assistant bot to trace this call. HelixGPT Assistant bot, so I will open this one. I will go to logs directory, which is under this path, and I will see the assistant log here. So I will open it. I can search with my input text, which was Windows, for example, and I can see here the contextual data and the request that's being sent. I can trace this one. Now, let's try our second use case for virtual agent. So let's create first one chatbot for us. I will go to chatbot application, go to chatbots, and create a new chatbot. I will call it HelixGPT webinar. I will save it. I can choose assistant service provider as Watson Assistant, but in our case, I will select HelixGPT. And I have to choose the skill that will be used with HelixGPT. So in our case, I will select Helix Virtual Agent, and I will select the Azure GPT-4 Turbo Sample skill. I can put a display name, so I will name it webinar. I can edit the welcome message, so I am Helix webinar, your PMC chatbot. I will add permissions to everyone to use this. And save. I can launch the chatbot from here. I will see that the message is here. I am Helix webinar and the name of the chatbot. And also I can get the chatbot ID from here. So I will copy this ID. Then I will go to Digital Workplace admin page. Go to configurations and then chat. I have to select virtual agent, and here I will select the bot ID. I can choose avatar customization, but some branding, and save. Now, if I go to Digital Workplace again, I will see the chatbot here for virtual agent. I can ask the same, how to add network, printer. So it gives me the answer. Also, I can ask show my requests. It gives me a list of my requests here. It has a better view on Employee Navigator. We can switch back to Employee Navigator and choose this. Let's refresh. And I will ask show my requests. So you see it has a table view and it shows all my requests. I can ask show my pending requests, for example. It showed me only the pending requests. Now let's use one use case for publishing a Digital Workplace catalog services to Digital Workplace. So we can go to DWP catalog, or we can do it from HelixGPT application. First, let me show it to you from DWP catalog. So I'll go to services, and for example, I have guest Wi-Fi. I will open it, and I can see the option for enabling in chatbot. So I have to select the provider, which is HelixGPT, and the application, Digital Workplace, and the skill that will be used. In my case, I am using this skill. I go to next. I have it already imported, but I can update it, so I will update it and go to next. Yes. I can add request variation, so the user can input different texts like I need guest Wi-Fi or internet access. These are the questions that will be asked, and if I need to change the text, specify the location, the number of guests or companies, start date and end date, I need to click on publish. Now it's published. We can do the same, as I said, from HelixGPT. So let's go to our HelixGPT application again. And from actions, I can publish chat enabled services. I have to select the provider, HelixGPT, the application, and the skill. And we can follow the same steps that we have done before. Now I will ask here, I need internet access. So it asks me, what is the name of the guest? So I will say Amr. And the location, I'll choose this location. And the number of guests, I'll select 3. Now start date and time, so I will say next Monday instead of adding a specific date. Now it asks me for the end date, so I'll say for 1 week. Now it provided me with a summary of my requests. Is it correct or not? It looks good. So yes. So the request is submitted, and that is the request ID. I can open it and verify. Yes, it has been created. Now let's demo our next use case for live agent. So I will open Digital Workplace as an end user. So I will say I am having issues with Microsoft Teams. It is hanging a lot. So it couldn't understand my query. So I will be transferred to a live agent. So it asks me for summarization. So MS Teams is hanging a lot on my Mac. Now it will transfer me to a live agent, so I will open live agent application. I will open the queue. And I will see the request from this user, and we can see HelixGPT chat summary that this test user is seeking help from a live agent due to frequent MS Teams hanging issues. I will accept the chat, and I will transfer this chat to also another agent. So let me open smart IT from another agent. And I will transfer it. So this user is online. You can see here the HelixGPT chat summary. I will transfer, and once it's transferred, the user can see the previous history and also the chat from HelixGPT summary. We can see this skill configured into our HelixGPT manager application under live chat application. We can see the summarization skill, and we can see the model used, and we can see the prompts, which is for summarization. If we view it, we'll see it is saying your intelligent bot generates summary for given chat conversation. Now let's demo our next use case for Helix Smart IT. For Smart IT, we can see here Helix IT Service Management, and we can see 3 different skills. One is for conversation, and the other one for global chat and resolution. We will start with the resolution skill, which gets its data from knowledge. So let's open Smart IT. I will create one request. I will say that I have problems adding network printer. I will create this ticket. And save it. Now it is saved successfully, and I can ask HelixGPT. It gives me answer because I have the summary of my instance as I have problem adding network printer, so it gives me this answer. And if I refresh again this page and show you the developer tools logs, so and now clicking on Ask HelixGPT, we'll see the request here. We can see that the use case here is defined as resolution, and the view, which is Ask HelixGPT, can be enabled from it. And if we go back here, we will see the ITSM resolution skill. We can see also the response here. Now let's try the next use case for conversation skill. So I will ask a question. I have already one article ingested, so I will ask how to troubleshoot VPN issues. So it gives me answers here. And if I open the developers tools again, let me ask the same question again. And see the payload. We'll see the use case as conversation. Let's try our third use case for global chat. So global chat can be enabled. As you can see, here's the search icon. And we'll see like digital workplace chat and search. This is a global chat for tickets, knowledge, and other stuff, and this one for HelixGPT. We can enable this one from mid-tier. Let's enable it. from centralized configuration and going to Smart IT. We can search for GPT. You will see enable HelixGPT global chat. It's set to true in our case. And we can ask the same, how to add network printer on Mac. That concludes our demo for today. Thank you.
Thanks for watching this.
There you go.
Yeah, so in summary, we have explained what HelixGPT is. Also, we have walked through architecture and did a demo for ITSM use cases and showed some troubleshooting tips. Next slide, please, Sam. Also, I want to highlight some training courses if you want to deepen your knowledge in HelixGPT.
Okay, and I think we're going to now move on to the Q&A. But before we do that, if anyone is interested in the GPT training, I will send out a code with 15% discount. And I am going to be plugging very shortly. And let me just move to the slide. Some of you may have already signed up for the roadshow. We have London coming up on July the 17th. If you're really looking to get hands-on experience and also understand what we offer in the education department, we have 2 breakout sessions, which will be one after the other. So the Helix training will start before the Helix hands-on labs, and that will be around Employee Navigator. So if you haven't already signed up for the roadshow, we've got the one on the 17th, and you can also come and get some real hands-on experience. And if you are in some of these locations, I will send out the link where you can sign up. Obviously, we're really plugging London at the moment, and I will be there amongst some of the team that's on this call today. So just a reminder for the roadshows, we'd love to see you there. I'm now going to stop sharing. I can see there's been a lot of chat in the Q&A, so I'm now going to start unmuting everyone. There's quite a few people to go through, so I would ask, before I do that, this is a question for Harishi, Hugh and Ankita. Is there anything else you would like to add to the presentation that Amar's done today? I'm sure you've got lots of tips, tricks and other ideas because you work in different departments of BMC Helix, and I'd love to hear from you.
Well, one that I've put as an answer to a bunch of the questions that have been asked is how can like custom REST APIs be accessed and things like that, and ITSM forms and everything like that. With 25.2, there's a really neat feature that was added where you can build an agentic tool based on an innovation studio process. I've added there's a couple of blog posts that I've posted on those chats. So that's one thing that I'd really look, for people that are looking to customize, for custom, REST endpoints or anything like that. I'd review those blog posts because I think that's really really valuable and
Thank
really
you.
powerful for you to customize things.
I will add those into the Q&A as well. So if anyone's missed those in the chat or the Q&A, we'll add those together when we send out the content. Thank you. Ankita, anything from yourself as a solutions engineer?
Oh, I see. It's a lot of good questions. We try to answer most of them, but there's definitely a lot of interest in HelixGPT, and it is available on-prem for the people who asked whether it's SaaS or on-prem. It is available on-prem as well, and you do have to bring your own LLM. So that I saw a few questions around that as well. There are a few questions still, Sam, remaining. I don't know whether we want to answer them live or how should we take them?
We will take them live. I just wanted to get any final call to actions or any other thoughts around it, but I think it's no time like the present. We've got about 20 minutes left, so I can see the questions that are still in there. We've got 9 open questions, and obviously, guys, keep them coming in. I will try to get to you to unmute you if you want to speak with us live as well. So the first question in here is from Sharfan. Can we add custom greeting message in Employee Navigator when first time users open it?
I'm not
Yes.
sure if, yeah, sorry.
It is possible, but it's again basically when you configure a search page in DWP, you
Yeah.
can specify what you want to initially prompt. The drawback being that that question also gets shown in that conversation, right? So something I do not like, but I think it's definitely one of the things I probably have to try and see if it's possible to basically customize the prompt, the agent instruction to always greet the user, right? So that's something probably I'll have to check and get back to you. Ankita, you wanted to add something on that?
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I answered the same way that we can, but Employee Navigator, we haven't tested it, but I think it's something we can try. But in the search views, you can match the search box. And also, I think there was a question around whether we can limit the visibility or who can access it. So for Employee Navigator, today it's not possible. For Virtual Agent, you can control who can see or who can launch Virtual Agent chat. And that's being done through Innovation Studio. But for Employee Navigator, we cannot do it today. However, if you want only a few people, then you can have a customized DWP page. And there you can limit the entitlements of DWP page. So that was another thing. But the welcome message, like Rishi said, yeah, something we'd have to look into.
Thank you. Hopefully that's answered the question. Feel free to ask anything further or let us know. Next question I can see in here is from Mark. I believe he's left now, but we should answer this one too. When in the ticket, does it only use the summary for the search criteria, or does it reference other fields?
It actually fetch from summary and description fields.
Both, yeah.
Thank you. And then we have a question from Laurent. In the BMC documentation on the support page, is it injected by default?
I didn't understand the question, to be honest.
I
Didn't
wasn't
get
sure.
it.
Laurent, I can see that you're on. Do you want to come off mute and give us a bit more detail? I wasn't sure either. Can you hear us?
Let's
a
move on to
few.
the next one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll follow up. So the next one is from Vanguard or Stensley. Are HelixGPT currently utilizing the MCP protocol for transfer of knowledge from external data sources? Harish, I can see you're answering that question.
It doesn't do MCP at the moment, but something we
Right.
definitely have on roadmap and actively exploring.
Okay, thank you. And then Simon, I can see you're still on. Can it be set to find related incident and report back the resolutions followed by previously? Simon, feel free to come off.
Yep. Just basically when it's going searching through everything, can it look through the existing tickets and say, oh yes, this has been asked before, and find an answer from that, which may not exist in a knowledge article, or how somebody got around a problem?
No, it doesn't currently go through the resolved incident, all the resolved incident to see if there was anything matching. So ideally, it always depends on a knowledge article or an incident with a similar summary and description. It will try to find that and see if there is a knowledge article which will be used to answer the resolution option for this current incident. Does that answer?
Yeah, basically, it's going to find knowledge articles and it's going to give answers only based on knowledge articles.
Correct.
Yeah, because that's the only found that I think the intent behind that is that's the only trusted source, and we don't know what's coming in the resolution notes of other from other incidents, whether that is valid or not, because some resolution notes, as we see, are not that descriptive. So we do have a capability in 25.2 where you are auto generation of resolution notes as well, which is helping us to create more summarize the work logs into resolution notes as well. That's from 25.2. So I think in future, we are going to expand it so that Helix GPT, it will not only look at knowledge articles, but also resolution notes and trusted resolution notes. So we would need more information. But that's something I think we are looking ahead.
Okay, Simon, you had another question as well. I saw further down. So while we've got you off mute, maybe we could get that question answered as well. Do you want to ask that to the team?
Yeah. So obviously, when you're dealing with quite often with sensitive data, now obviously certain bits of information possibly could be obfuscated, but if you've got a way of pattern matching, so if it's an IP address, we can say don't send what looks like an IP address, don't send what looks like it could be a username, or don't send what looks like it could be a password. That type of sort of logic to try and protect either sensitive data or commercially sensitive or personally sensitive.
I'm not sure if this is possible, but the retention of your data is responsibility for your LLM. So you have to check with the AI provider for how long this data will be retained.
So there is nothing out of the box, as Elma mentioned, right? But one of the things is to consider probably adding some sort of a filtering, right? So some customization, I would say that C word customization would be required in the sense what data you pass on to the LLM, which again, I would sort of lean on to what you said, that is capability called tools. So you can use this tool to invoke your local LLM, pass on the data, say that, okay, sanitize this version before I send it to the external LLM, right? So that's one sort of a workaround, I would say. But generally, yeah, I mean, I think it's mostly in European Union that you have this rules, I believe. That's where this question is stemming from, I understand. But yeah, that there might be some way we can sort of explore to see we can have those filtering done before it's sent to LLM.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, our next question is from Mohammed. I can see, Mohammed, you're still on. Does Helix GPT support continual learning from customer feedback and TKT's history?
So we have the feedback sort of feature that would be used in the continuous learning, mostly would be related to knowledge article. So yes, it would be, but not for your regular interaction where you are talking to a catalog service or maybe using some other sort of external tools or integrations.
But it can also, Rishi, from the recent one, the intelligent routing thing that just came in 25.2. I think that is also, that's machine learning, that how it's learning from the existing, how the previous tickets have been resolved. And it just gives that feedback on the new tickets which are getting created and route it to the right team automatically. So it does learn in a way. I don't know if that the question is around that how the first level routing can be automated using, from machine learning. But that's ML, that's not generative AI or GPT.
So that's right. So those are the models that we host, the BMC models that are built out of the incident data or all the other data that's been collected over time. Yeah. So that's definitely, yes, you're right. It's we are training on that data.
Yeah.
But nothing specific on Helix GPT.
Okay. We've got still a few more questions. My gosh, we've had a lot of questions. Is there this just tells me this subject's so important. I think you've answered 71 questions. This must be by far the most questions I've ever had in a webinar. This is great. Is there a white paper on data security while using Helix GPT across the Helix platform? And that's from Guru Prasad. Don't know if he's still on.
Actually, it is subject to the same security policy and role-based access you have for other Helix applications. I'm not sure if there's a white paper.
Yeah, I mean, that's from the permission model for Helix platform. I think this is more in the context of anyone who wants to, I think at least what I've seen is like anyone wants to adopt, who have an Helix instance, want to adopt Helix GPT, the first question will ask, what is the security, what is the data security involved. So is there some sort of a clear documentation in the past, like, there will be data security for, how a single sign-on or any other component really works, sort of, gives clear black and white demarcation of what it is supposed to do and how. And is there something like a white paper or a documentation which just says, yeah, I mean, this data goes to LLM, this data doesn't go to LLM, this information is used, this information is not used, and so on, like, which can be read by a security architect in an organization to say, yeah, oh yeah, we understand this is how it's going to use. So
Yes.
that, can be
Yes.
used. Is there
Yes.
any documentation on that?
Yeah, these informations are available on our documentation. Maybe share it later after the webinar.
Okay.
I'll put it into the blog post when we put all these questions together, and bear with us, guys, it's going to take quite a while to get all the answers. I'll put it at the bottom with the resources link and share all the content that we can obviously point you to as well. Thank you for your question. So I can see we've still got more questions. I'm actually scared we're getting down through them all and then more come in again. We're definitely going to need to run another session. And actually, just a quick plug, we are running the same session next week for APAC and India. So if you do have any colleagues on the 8th of July, this team will also be representing us again to get some of the questions answered. So please share that, and I'll put the link in the thank you email. Just back to the Q&A. So Martin, I can see you're still on, so I'll try to pick the questions of people that are still here, and the rest we will answer offline. Your question was, does it use A2A at the moment, or is it a custom solution right now? Feel free to come off mute, Martin.
Sure, pretty much just because we had the MCP discussion beforehand. So just to clarify, does it use A2A right now, or is it some custom solution for the agentic AI you have right now? It's important for the interfaces you can build or not.
My understanding, it is custom. It was started when A2A was very in an infancy state. But I have to check and get you more details on that, because I wouldn't be surprised if you already have plans to move to a more standard approach of A2A protocols. But right now it is not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next question is from Akash. I can see Akash is still on there, and Ankita, I can see you're about to answer that question.
Yeah.
So can GPT search and provide the details of incidents? For example, can it list the major or critical incidents currently ongoing? So if you could answer that one.
Yeah, it depends, Akash. Which persona is asking this question? Is it agent or is it end user? It depends on that. So depends on that, I mean, you can, essentially the answer is yes, you can make it answer. Yes, the answer is yes. And then there are details, of course.
Akash, I have given you permission to unmute. If you would rather not talk, if you can just put a note into the chat, I'll follow up with the team if you don't want to speak. Okay, Virgilio, I can see there is a question from you and you're also still on. So other articles are at the basis of information are being fed to users' inquiry. Is there a possibility to ingest the information that is published in the intranet? Harishi, I can see you're trying to answer that one.
Yes. So you can always use the web connector basically to get content from a specific web pages or set of pages. You can also, if you want to just search the internet and get a response back, you can always use, what is it called? You can use custom tools to build connectors to your preferred search engine. Yeah, so I just post an example that we have on our community's blog post, which should help you to get started if you want to go that route.
Thank you, Harishi, and I'll take those links after the event as well, so we can put those in the blog post. Okay, Devendra, I can see you're still on. Can you help with the version from which it got stop, please. I'm not sure if you had another question before then. Maybe you could come off mute and confirm.
I think it's talking about IBM Watson, if I'm not wrong.
Ah, okay.
I think it's IBM Watson. I'm not quite sure. I think 23.304. Rishi, do you know? I don't think we have stopped it from 23.304, I think.
Yeah, I think I have to check the exact versions. I think we are not having any new Watson support. I think existing whatever is there, we are support.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do not know exact version, but yeah, 23.304 or maybe 25.1 or 2 is the place where we have stopped issuing new Watson GPT or Watson based HVA.
Yep.
We'll get the details. I've just put a note in for us to follow up. Okay, Rance, I can see you're also still on. So your question was around the sensitivity for the responses you described, not including passwords, personal information, IP information in responses. Is that enabled out of the box? And is there a place to define guardrails?
I think this is possible from the provider side, from the LLM.
But I think the question here is that it should not even be sent to LLM, right? So, so means even to infer that, okay, do not use password, personal details, blah, blah, blah. In this, we still send the whole content to the LLM. So I do not see if there is this guardrail out there yet. But as I mentioned before, that there should be some internal way to filter those things out, particularly in just only those content which are not sensitive, probably, because in your open search report.
Rance, can you hear us? I can see you've come off mute.
I can, yes. So I'm just wondering, for the responses, we want to make sure that people can't get creative and pull data out of Helix GPT that they shouldn't be able to get.
Yeah.
So in a way of defining guardrails to that information that they can
I think
query.
global prompt is a very good way to set what the critical information are, basically. For example, if you are in an HR system, you do not want to share salary and any other confidential information, date of birth, for example, right? So yeah, you can have those information in the guardrail, which is the global prompt, and that would be used by the LLM to make sure that none of those information is present in the summary or response that it generates.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. And I'm going to ask if we cannot put any further questions in. We've still got 4 left, and I think we'll take one more because we are actually 1 minute over the hour. And for those that have still got questions in, I promise I'll get them over to this team and we'll get them answered for you, and they'll be on the blog post. So we'll just take the last one from Shubham. We already have many IT tools and data sources. How does BMC Helix actually cut through that complexity and give us clear, actionable view of our entire IT environment? This is asked by a customer that will be the best answer for this.
I think we need more clarity on the question, I think. What exactly is he looking for?
I think it's basically a North Star. I mean, everybody wants this sort of a solution which would make things easy and all those things, but you have to take the first step. You have to walk before you run. So, but yeah, there is no simple answer for that. I think the product will evolve, and you'll have those capabilities added every patch and release.
Shubham, has that answered your question, or do you have something further you want to ask? I don't know if you can come off mute. Or maybe follow up with me after. Okay, I'm very conscious we've gone 2 minutes over, and I think if we stayed on here longer, we'd get another 20 questions. I have to say, congratulations to the team. They've answered 88 questions. We've only got 3 left, so thank you so much. And also, Amar, for bringing a really interesting and obviously well-needed topic. As we pointed out, this is just the first of many. There is loads of content that the wider team of BMC Helix have created. I will point you those to the documents, also point you to the webinar page. If there is any content you'd like to see in future sessions, please reach out. We would hope to see you in many of these different roadshows that are coming up, but if you've got any questions, then feel free to reach out.